Hello, StarCraft fans! This is FalconPally coming to you with yet another StarCraft Brood War upload. This is a game between FalconPally and David on Lost Temple. In the top side of the map, we have the yellow Terran player, it is David. And in the bottom side of the map, we have the purple Zerg player, it is FalconPally. Yes, it is me playing against one of my friends who also loves Brood War. He hasn't played Brood War for about 7 years before this match, but I would say this match is about anywhere from gold to platinum level, according to StarCraft 2 standards. Anyway, so let's see how this thing is going to go. Can we hear sounds? I just saw this egg hatch without hearing any sounds. Hang on a second. Yeah, we can hear eating. We can hear eating there a little bit. It is going to be hard to balance this. We're going to put, not that, we're going to put sound up a tiny bit. Yeah, the hatching, we just didn't get any sound of that. I think that was the same thing we saw with the Flash versus Savior cast I did recently. I don't know. I don't know what this is. All right, so this is a game we played just at a little get-together that we had. Just played a bunch of games, played some Heroes of the Storm, played some Hearthstone, obviously played some StarCraft Brood War, which is always just a good time with people. Now that it's free, it's pretty easy to get people on board to play a game that is old at this point, but again, it is free. Definitely drums up interest for StarCraft Remastered, which a lot of people are interested in obtaining here. So starting a wall off, supply depot at the top of his ramp is our friend David. Again, the early game is a little bit slower here just because you only start out with 5 workers, or is it 4 workers? Ooh, I think you start out with 5 workers. And at this point, I am just droning. I'm droning really hard. How many workers do I actually have? Do we have to count? I always forget we have to count in Brood War. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically 9 drones compared to his 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 9 as well, but he's also getting his supply depot. Oh, and he has another SCV over here as well. So he's keeping up in the worker count, which is great against a Zerg player here. And I'm trying to remember Brood War build orders, and I'm struggling so mightily. So I decided I'm going to go hatch first. Hatch first was a thing in Brood War, right? So I've got, what, 12 supply? I think 12 is pretty good. It's not going to be like a 6 pool, 6 hatch, which makes no sense to me, but it's not going to be a 17 hatch either, which makes a lot more sense in Legacy of the Void. So here we are, throwing down the hatchery at the natural base location. I do know this is Legacy of the Void, or Legacy of the Void. This is Lost Temple, another name that starts with the letter L. So I do know I have a fairly safe place I can take an expansion at. I'm kind of worried that this ramp, to access this ramp, he doesn't actually have to get anywhere near this hatchery at all. So any static defense I have down here is not going to help out. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do something about that. Eventually, you got your barracks on the way here for David. Supply depot, second supply depot on the way. He's got his gas at the same time. And we're doing extractor coming up here as well for me. So I'm recognizing need an extractor, need a pool, getting both of those things very quickly. I have been playing some of the Zerg campaign in regular StarCraft, not Brood War, just the first edition of StarCraft. And so I've been basically using some of my skills. Why does it do that? The mouse scroll is just incredibly fast. I can barely move here. Extractor does end up popping. Anyway, the point is just trying to get a feel for Brood War again and just kind of struggling with it, making too many drones or not enough drones or too many hatches or not enough macro hatches. I have some vague memories of playing Brood War back in the day with like 6 hatcheries off of 2 or 3 bases. Just because you don't have queens to inject larvae, you need additional larva production. The only way to do that is with more hatcheries. Yeah, these buildings are popping with no sound. I wonder if this is a bug. This might be a bug with replays in the current version of StarCraft. It has been patched a couple times. They've been doing some stuff with it recently. This is like 1182 or something. I'm going for a Hydralisk Den. Ling Hydra, I know, is pretty good against early harassment, early pressure from Terran. Got a couple Marines out here now. Does our friend David. Does he have too many workers on gas? Looks like he has 4 workers on gas instead of the 3 that you need. Notice there's always an SCV sitting here doing absolutely nothing. It switches places, right? Top, bottom, but that is too many workers on that gas for sure. I'm not sure how much that's going to hurt him in the long run. Now going for his factory, continuing his supply depot production, doing a great job not being supply blocked. How am I doing on that? 13 out of 26. I'm very not supply blocked at all. I am making another hatch up here. I recognize I need more supply, not more supply, more production capabilities And at the same time, I don't want the Terran player walking up my ramp without having to deal with this hatchery down here. I'm like, should I put static defense down here? No, again, he could just bypass it. So, throwing this hatch up just outside of the ramp, get some sunken colonies up there. Almost said spines. Gotta keep my terminology correct. Gotta keep it correct. So that factory is done. He's continually making Marines at this point. I've got some Lings out. Do kill a SCV that was scouting in there at some point. And you know what? We're going to turn up this sound just a little bit. I know some of you hate this, but I'm going to have to tweak it a little bit. Let me know. Let me know if the sound is too loud, the music is too loud, or too quiet, and we'll try to find it. I'm a pretty good spot with StarCraft 2 right now. I like where I am. And I think my subscribers and viewers are happy as well, which is you, obviously. I haven't heard anybody complain about it for a long time anyway, so I assume I'm doing a pretty good job. Another factory up, another barracks up, recognizing you need more production facilities in order to make more stuff, in order to spend all the money that you have. Look at how many workers he has here off of this one base. I don't think I'm actually keeping up in worker count at all. I'm trying to drone, but again, you can't rally your workers to mineral patches. You can actually set the rally point on a hatchery to a mineral patch, but then the worker just goes right next to it and sits there until you tell it to mine. It's actually super duper annoying. I just forgot how much I hated that with all of StarCraft 2 auto rallying that you can do on those mineral patches. So a lot of Marines here, and I think, yes, indeed, machine shop there. We do have siege tanks on the way. You got to research the siege mode on that machine shop, which I think he's not... is that going to show animating in the replay? I don't know. This does show animating if he's researching something at it. So let's see if we get there. And another machine shop with another Terran factory coming in. You need that machine shop not just for upgrades, but to make tanks at all. They can make vultures initially, but you need them for these tanks. So tank Marine here, again, just it's an eternal classic combo for Terrans against Zerg, throwing down 2 sunken colonies, 2 creep colonies that I upgraded, 2 sunken colonies here. Right at the front door, got my hatch kind of walling off at the same time, making additional drones here and getting them to work fairly quickly. I don't have a lot of idle drone time, I would say. The SCVs have been at work super duper well, I feel like, except for this dude right here. This dude right here for David is just kind of hanging out, watching his buddies work, and I'm sure they're just kind of like kicking him as they walk by with the stuff they're working about. I did find my opponent here. I think I had not scouted where he was until this point, so I sent a Ling up. He did get murdered by the Marines, but I found out where my dude was. I found out my opponent had a lot of Marines, which tells me some stuff. Got some idle drones here. Oh, there we go, getting them to work, and I'm going for a lair. I'm thinking about going for a lurker. I don't know if I have enough time to go for lurker at this point, and these dudes as well. There we go, getting to work. Getting to work. Drones getting to work is a major theme of Brood War, at least for me. We do have a ComSat station coming in for David, allowing him to scan for areas of the map that he can't see. Speaking of which, I did leave Fog of War on for this cast. I've done it both ways, and I've got complaints both ways, so I don't know. What's the standard here? I might just leave it this way. I think Fog of War is okay. It doesn't hurt me at all when I'm casting. Ling, again, scouting. Scouting's important. I see the tanks moving out. I see the Marines moving out, and indeed, I'm going to produce a lot of stuff. I'm making some Overlords because I'm supply blocked. I'm waiting for my lair to finish, and I'm like, all right, can I deal with a big Marine tank push? There are 3 tanks here. Do they have siege mode? Is the question of the day. I can't tell. I can't tell here from the replay, but I'm pretty sure they do by this stage in the game. So I'm making a lot of Zerglings. I'm thinking, okay, there's no medics. It's only Marines. Zerglings should be just fine against straight Marines here. They don't have any upgrades either. And against tanks, Lings are pretty fantastic as well. So again, I like my Zerglings. I get stuck at them sometimes, but sometimes they're also the right answers. There we go. Creep Colony getting some shots off. Well, Sunken Colony version of the Creep Colony getting some shots off there, killing a couple Marines. Tanks coming in, setting up. There's the siege mode. But in range of the Sunken Colony is one of the tanks, and the Lings moving on in. One of the tanks does get taken down by the Sunken Colony. Lings right on top of these Marines. Not much micro here from the Marines. Still, a lot of Lings are dying to these dudes. Tank, Hydras, get rid of that guy as well, and the attack is held off. I have a smattering of Lings and 3 Hydras remaining after that attack. I lost one of my creep colonies. I'm going for the counterattack. I'm wondering if David was macroing behind that, and the answer is, you know what? He was. He's got 4 more tanks up here with a couple Marines as well, and I'm thinking, all right, you don't really want to attack up a ramp that a Terran owns, especially if they have 4 siege tanks in siege mode. Up on the top there, my Hydras are running past this. Get out of there, Hydras, and I'm trying to micro them out. One gets killed before that point. I'm checking for an expansion. There's not an expansion for David there either. A lot of Lings coming in, and I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, man. These Lings are getting essentially one shot by these tanks at this point. The damage done is 70 damage. Zerglings have 35 HP, so yeah, you just can't survive tank shots with Lings at this stage of the game. Can you ever? Can Lings ever survive a single shot from a siege tank in Brood War? I don't think it's possible if it's 75 damage per shot. No, probably not. So I have some Lings sitting up here. I don't know what they're planning on doing. I think I'm waiting for an expansion to come up, and then I'll try to shut it down real quick before David can understand what's going on. I am going for another macro hatch here inside the main base, and I have a spire coming up. I don't want to expand again because I know he hasn't expanded, and I know another attack is probably coming. So really tank heavy at this point for David. I am floating so much money. 1,200 minerals and 1,000 gas. Siege, our Terran player is at 900 minerals and 200 gas, so spending his money a little bit better, but again, he doesn't have, actually, I don't have 2 geysers either. That's weird. Super weird. Anyway, I'm going for a spire. I'm thinking, okay, if there are going to be this many tanks and the Marines don't have medics protecting them, then I'm thinking I'm going to go Muta. And these Lings, I totally lied. I did not recognize there was a command center coming up here. These Lings, I think, sit here for the rest of the game. No spoilers. But I do, look what I do. I put some Lings and Hydras, well, mostly Lings, and a single Hydra up here to the left and up north from my main base, so that if an attack comes in at the same place it was before, I'll be able to get a surround attacking from the main base and also attacking from the back side. Siege tanks do much better when attacks are coming from a single direction. When they're coming from multiple directions, they kind of get confused. Their splash damage is not as good. And that's all she wrote. But here we go. This is a lot of scary, scary tank. That spire is done. And we do have some mutas on the way, but can they get out in time? That is actually 1, 2, 3. That is 6 siege tanks. A Ling, again, scouting, sees this coming, sees the number of tanks, feeling a little bit worried. A little bit worried about this. Tanks marching on down here. And what do we got? We are making mutas. Are they going to pop in time? The answer is yes. The mutas have popped in time. The tanks are setting up. The Marine count is not necessarily high enough to deal with this. Again, tanks setting up and firing. Firing on stuff, and it's time to go. From the left side, from the bottom side, the mutas, the Lings on top of the Marines. The Marines are all gone, and now suddenly we have Ling and muta against straight tank, and that is just a bad combination for tanks. Tanks getting some kills out. A lot of dead Zerglings here, but again, the attack is completely squished. At that point in time, more tanks, more Marines trying to come on down here. They decide to retreat as they recognize that did not go very well. Did not go super duper well here. Lings, and we find them. They don't quite retreat all the way home. They're coming back to the safety of one of their tanks. But my Lings, again, getting absolutely murdered there. Man alive, 3 kills, 2 kills, 7 kills on that siege tank. The mutas say, we can handle this. We can handle this many Marines, and that's going to be it. A BG out of David. I think that's intended to be a GG, and that's it. David has left the game. The tanks are gone, and the mutas are hanging out. I think we're chatting at this point, but yeah, so basically Ling Muta saving the day against a very tank-heavy composition, and that's going to be it for that match. All right, so that's going to be it from me. If you have any, I mean, obviously... If you have any comments on how to improve, let me know, you Brood War players, that you show up here on my videos. I appreciate it. Again, advice is always going to be very, very good. But regardless, pretty fun game, pretty good game. We got some nice pushes out. He actually beat me in a game previous to this using Protoss, just a nice Zealot Dragoon attack, but that was just kind of like one big attack and I was dead. So this one was a little bit better. Kind of a back and forth there. He did have a nice siege. He killed a lot of my units, but I just managed to get mutas out just in time to get the victory, and that was it. So that is going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another StarCraft Brood War upload. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.